In-depth analysis of ongoing protests in Kenya, social media mobilization, government response, and long-term implications. In recent months, Kenya has witnessed persistent protests driven by widespread discontent over economic policies and government accountability. Sparked initially by opposition to the Finance Bill 2024, these demonstrations have evolved into a broader movement demanding President William Ruto's resignation and systemic reforms. Central to the protesters' strategy has been the strategic use of social media, which has played a pivotal role in organizing, amplifying their message, and mobilizing support. Social media as a catalyst for mobilization. Social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok have served as vital tools for activists in Kenya. Hashtags like #RejectFinanceBill 2024 and #OccupyParliament went viral, effectively unifying the protesters' message and galvanizing public support. Key influencers and celebrities leveraged their reach to amplify these campaigns, contributing to the movement's widespread visibility and impact. Facebook event pages and groups provided centralized spaces for disseminating updates, coordinating logistics, and fostering community among supporters. Visual platforms like Instagram and TikTok enabled powerful storytelling through photos and videos, compellingly conveying the realities and motivations behind the protests. WhatsApp groups facilitated real-time communication among organizers, ensuring coordination and safety during demonstrations. Additionally, online crowdfunding platforms like Mchanga raised substantial funds to support protesters' needs, demonstrating a high level of trust and solidarity among supporters. However, the use of social media was not without challenges. The rapid dissemination of information also led to the spread of misinformation and exposed activists to surveillance and crackdowns by authorities. Concerns over data privacy violations arose, prompting warnings from the Data Protection Commissioner against the unauthorized sharing of politicians' personal information online. Government response: crackdowns, concessions, and dismissive rhetoric. The Kenyan government responded to the protests with a mix of suppression tactics, dismissive rhetoric, and partial concessions. Authorities arrested protest organizers and threatened legal action against those sharing politicians' personal details online. Reports indicated the use of social media monitoring and surveillance to identify and target influential voices within the movement. President William Ruto initially dismissed protesters as privileged youth, labeling the demonstrations as treasonous acts. Despite these dismissive statements, the government eventually withdrew the Finance Bill 2024 in response to mounting public pressure. Concessions like zero rating on essential goods reflected an attempt to appease public discontent, albeit insufficiently addressing broader demands for systemic reforms. Long-term implications: political reforms, civil society empowerment, and potential unrest. The ongoing protests are likely to have profound and lasting effects on Kenya's political, economic, and social landscape. Political and economic reforms: the youth-led protests have demonstrated the effectiveness of sustained public pressure in influencing policy changes. Moving forward, demands for deeper economic reforms, anti-corruption measures, and improved governance are expected to persist, potentially reshaping Kenya's political agenda. Strengthening of civil society and digital activism. The protests underscored the power of digital activism in mobilizing mass participation and challenging governmental authority. This empowerment may lead to continued activism on various social and political issues, promoting transparency and accountability in governance. Increased polarization and potential unrest. Government crackdowns and dismissive rhetoric have escalated tensions, risking further polarization and radicalization among protesters. Continued resistance to meaningful dialogue and reforms could intensify unrest and destabilize the country, particularly if security forces escalate their response. Shifts in political landscape. President Ruto's diminished credibility and the broad-based nature of the protests have potential implications for political alliances and power dynamics within Kenya. The movement's ability to transcend traditional divisions suggests possible realignments in the country's political landscape. Emphasis on transparency and accountability. The protests have spotlighted issues of transparency and accountability in government actions. Public scrutiny and demands for stronger legal protections, including data privacy laws, are likely to shape future governance practices in Kenya. The ongoing protests in Kenya, fueled by social media mobilization and driven by demands for economic justice and political accountability, represent a significant challenge to the status quo. While the government has made some concessions, the resilience of the protest movement underscores its potential to effect substantial and enduring changes in Kenya's governance and societal norms. The balance between continued public pressure and governmental response will be critical in determining the trajectory of these developments in the coming months and years.